The Voidwalkers' Pact. The edge of the Dead Expanse shimmered like a wound in space. No stars, no radiation, no mass. Just void, true void, unyielding and ancient. Ships that entered were never heard from again. Entire exploration fleets simply vanished. So the galaxy agreed. The Expanse was cursed, forbidden, off-limits by ancient pact and common sense. Until the Wendigo came back. It arrived at the Galactic Accord Station K. 9 trailing melted hull plates, hull breaches sealed with emergency welding foam, and what looked like bones fused to the exterior. Human bones. Every species on the Accord Council went silent as the ship docked. And then the crew emerged. 5 humans, burn-scarred, laughing, covered in soot and dried blood, sipping steaming mugs of something dark and bitter-smelling. One wore a cracked helmet with tally marks scratched into the visor. Another had a prosthetic arm that hissed every time he flexed it. Counselor Zelvor of the Threx Dominion finally spoke. "You survived the Expanse." The human captain grinned. Her teeth gleamed through the grime. "We mapped it." And then she sipped her coffee. The Accord summoned an emergency assembly. Species who hadn't shared a room in centuries now crowded into the main hall of Station K9. Projected hollow footage from the Wendigo flickered in the air, jagged shadows, static corrupted audio, a glimpse of something moving where nothing should move. "We believe these creatures encountered residual dimensional anomalies," said Counselor Vurix of the Zalari Compact. "No sane being would fly through that." "But the humans did," said another, nervously flicking their antennae. And they returned. Captain Rosa Vance stood at the center of the floor, dirty, bloodied, but defiant. "Why?" Counselor Zelvor demanded again. "Why enter the Expanse at all?" Rosa shrugged. "Because someone had to." The room erupted into argument, dozens of languages clashing. Some demanded her arrest. Others proposed an immediate ban on human exploration tech. A few called the humans something far older. Voidwalkers. That was when the station lights flickered. Power surged. Emergency alarms screamed. Rosa dropped her mug. "They followed us." The lights sputtered to red. Emergency shields snapped on. And something knocked from the outside. Station K9 was located in deep orbit around a blue giant. Nothing should have been able to reach it undetected. Nothing. And yet, the hull groaned with impossible pressure. Counselor Vurix's voice quivered. "What did you bring back?" "Not on purpose," Rosa muttered, her hand already on a sidearm. "They're curious. Like us. Just hungrier." One of her crew, an engineer with burn marks running up one side of his face, stepped forward. "We didn't exactly understand how they think. There's no language. No form. Just hunger and curiosity wrapped in entropy." Counselor Zelvor hissed. "You made contact?" Rosa's grin returned, this time grim. "We made a deal." Before anyone could ask, the station's main viewport went black. Not just visually, but sensorially. Like space had stopped existing. Then something wrote itself in tendrils of dark energy across the glass. A message, in no known script. But the humans read it just fine. The engineer's voice dropped to a whisper. "It says, 'We are listening.'" Panic erupted. Species that had never experienced fear fell to the floor, overwhelmed by something ancient pressing at the edges of their minds. Civilizations that had stared down black holes and antimatter storms whimpered at the idea of being noticed. And the humans? They just looked tired. "We warned you," Rosa said. "The Expanse isn't empty. It's alive, old, and now that it knows there's more out here." The station jolted. Artificial gravity buckled. Structural supports groaned. A secondary vent ruptured, spewing frost into the chamber. One of Rosa's crew opened a small case. Inside, a simple, glowing cube, pulsing with light that hurt to look at. "This," she said, "is our insurance. The first gift they gave us. It sings to them, keeps them calm." Counselor Zelvor reeled back. "You bargained with Void Spawn." Rosa nodded. "You'd be surprised what you can negotiate when you're willing to burn everything down first." Then the cube began to dim. The light flickered. The room's temperature plummeted. Frost crept along the walls despite the failing thermal systems struggling to compensate. Shadows grew thicker, longer, curling in ways no geometry should allow. "Keep it talking," Rosa snapped. "J, recalibrate the cube's pulse. Reharmonize it." J, the prosthetic-armed crewman, dropped to his knees and yanked out a soldering torch. I need 30 seconds. You've got 10. Counselors scrambled. Some activated personal shield drones. Others tried to contact their fleets, only to find comms dead. Not jammed. Devoured. Rosa stepped toward the viewport. The symbols had changed. Now they read, "Others will come." The voice came from nowhere. From everywhere. It didn't speak, it intruded. Inside every mind. A pressure of memories that weren't yours. Hunger without sensation. Dreams without time. Rosa didn't flinch. "You made a pact with us. Hold your end." The voice answered. "Then feed us wonder." Jay roared. "Got it." The cube flared. First blue, then white, then something deeper than color. The frost receded. The shadows howled in silence and pulled back. But not all the way. "We bought time," Rosa said, her voice taut. "Not peace." Counselor Vurix floated closer, trembling. What do they want?" Rosa's eyes burned with something between awe and dread. "They want stories. Experience. Meaning. That's how they live. Not by eating, but by devouring the impossible." Counselor Zelvor hissed. "You made us a meal." "No," Rosa turned. "We made a deal. One system. One story. One expedition at a time." Jay stood beside her. "They taught us how to fold through dead space. How to see entropy as language. We brought something back." "And in return?" Zelvor asked. Rosa looked at the cube. "We promised to keep going." Counselor Vurix whispered. "You plan to lead them further?" Rosa grinned. "Not lead. Guide. Keep the leash tight. Feed them slowly. A trickle of wonder, a taste of chaos." She turned to the assembled council. "Or you could shut it all down. Seal the expanse. Pretend none of this happened. But they're awake now. They know we're here." She pointed toward the dark, pulsing window. "Close the door, and they'll come looking." Silence fell. Then Counselor Zelvor asked the question that echoed in every mind. "What do you propose?" Rosa lifted the cube. "A pact. A council of Voidwalkers. Volunteers from every species. Explorers. Psychonauts. Engineers. Poets. We feed the dark what it craves, and it leaves the rest alone." "And if we refuse?" Vurix asked. Jay laughed. It wasn't a sane sound. "Then start praying your stars don't blink." They didn't wait for permission. The Wendigo undocked an hour later, patched, steaming, humming with forbidden engines. Into the expanse they returned. Not to conquer. Not to survive. To feed wonder to the dark.